Marketer of the Day, episode 580. Convey your message using membership sites. Gamify learning for your customers and live your best moments of truth with Issac Tolpin.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Marketer of the Day podcast. We're chatting with Issac Tolpin, and Issac is one of the founders of conveyyour.com. So it's like conveyor belt, but then it's like your, like while you are. So just to make sure that we all have the web address, it's conveyyour.com. That's conveyyour.com. And Conveyyour is the #1 micro learning platform for influencers and companies. And Issac has enabled brands to authentically connect and inform at scale with over $105 million in combined revenues from the companies he's helped build. And Issac is not only all about the technology stuff, but he has a handle on this lifestyle, living life on your own terms, not letting the business side of things overtake you. So hopefully we'll dig into that. So Issac, glad to be talking to you.
Oh, so great to be here, Robert. Excited. I love the entrepreneurial journey. And so what a great podcast. It's great.
Right. I mean, why mess around, right? Why live in the 9-to-5 job that you hate and just look down the road decades and decades from now and hope that someday you can do it? I mean, that doesn't sound like fun at all. Might as well get it done now. Might as well figure out a way to have your cake and eat it too. And so, I looked before this call at your Conveyor platform a little bit, and I just love the idea, and I didn't look at it all that much, but I love the idea of having things like, challenges, quizzes, checklists to make things more interesting. So is that a good jumping off point to just kind of explain Conveyor and what you guys do and what makes you different?
Oh, sure. Happy to do that. I think if anybody's ever taken an online course, the first thing that probably comes to mind is boring. And nothing should be boring anymore. I mean, technology is come so far that, people building courses shouldn't create something that bores people to death, whether it's in a company or you're selling your information, leveraging your content. The experience matters as much as the content matters. We all can agree to that, right? And we're in an environment where we bail quickly on things like YouTube and so forth. So Conveyyour is an answer to that. It aligns, it's a software that has the mechanisms to bring your content to life, and it aligns with where human behavior is at today.
Fantastic. I completely agree. There's no need to have it act like a boring college or high school textbook. We've all suffered enough of that, and that sounds really dated. And it's one thing to have, just like boring, chapters and things like that back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s when you had textbooks and videotape. But nowadays with smartphones and with your browser and the interactive experience, there's no excuse to do things in those sorts of outdated terms. So what kind of fun things can you help people add to their courses here?
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think one of the biggest challenges, I'll answer that, but within this, one of the biggest challenges people face is actually the production side of building out a course. And there's so much pressure put on video. You think you have to have all this equipment and things just right. But really, just think about it for a second. What gets the most views? What's real? Now, there has to be a certain level of polish and professionalism, depending on the context. But remember, the more you put into videos, the more likely you're going to be resistant to ever changing those videos. And if something's ever irrelevant, even in one place, they'll think everything's irrelevant. So it's important to keep up to date and fresh. And so what we did is we created a platform that took the friction out of the production for the content provider, whether that's an HR department or a trainer, somebody that wants to sell their information or give it away. And that became super important because if you're going to keep relevant and up to date and get content out to people when they need it, it's got to be super, super easy for the content provider. So on that side of things, to answer your question, it's as simple as, create a campaign, it creates it, and then you add new content, you hit add new content, and then a dashboard appears where there's 9 different engagement formats. And you can pick an engagement format like a stats tracker where you can have them rate something 1 to 10 a couple times. But instead of like something clunky, it's literally a beautiful dial you just drag to the right. Or a poll question where there's no right or wrong answer, but they can answer something after they watch your video. and it immediately shows the results afterwards. So now there's some social learning happening and immediate feedback, which everybody's addicted to with the social media world. Or let's say you wanted to challenge them on information. And so you could have a challenge question, whether it's multiple choice, one right, few wrong, and it actually measures the speed at which you answer. So the longer you take, the more points you're losing. You don't even know it. And then it also measures, when you get a wrong answer, it'll tell you got it wrong, you lose some points, and then it lets you keep choosing till you get it right. Once you get it right, boom, you get a remaining number of points and a video plays, or the video could play before it, either way. What's cool about that is you're making learning a game. You're making it gamified in a way that people are used to it. Why is social media so popular? Because of the fear of missing out is one aspect, right? So we want to see what we missed out on. We don't want to miss out because there's this peer-to-peer pressure to see updates, or the positive feedback of getting recognized for putting good content out there and more likes and shares and all that kind of stuff. And so you're feeding into this world. And I guess the question is, do we want people to be addicted to our content? Well, I think the answer is yes. Yeah. So those are some examples for you.
Okay, yeah, and there's a lot of good stuff to unpack there, and I'm completely in agreement with you as far as people get hung up on, but they also get confused between the production quality and the content quality, right? They think that the lighting has to be great, everything needs to be super polished and slicked and rehearsed, and all the ums taken out and all the pauses taken out, and I mean, that sort of thing drives me crazy, but I can also relate to having gone through that years and years ago of thinking that I have to have this 100% perfect website, and if it's a little on the homemade side or if things could be better, then as if that's an excuse to wait 6 more months and to not do things. And I also think about sometimes when I've taken a course or bought someone's product, and when it was a really slick members area or a really slick dashboard, sometimes that was confusing to me, and I was more distracted by all the fancy colors and graphics they had, and I think I just want that content to help me. So that's really good as far as motivating people to go out there and get things done. And then, like you said too, then there's that an element of friction. People are like, well, the videos have to be perfect. I have to figure out how to recode things and host things and how to add all these fancy scripts. And you're just saying, well, let's just take out the middleman, let's take out all those problems, let's host all those things for people, and let's kind of ride the wave that is happening with social media and Facebook, where people like your stuff, where they can ding stuff, where instead of you just watching some videos or reading some information, you can click on things, right? And you can answer those poll questions or those challenge questions, or do the stats tracker. And so am I understanding you right in that you host the whole thing? Like, someone wants to make a course, they just sign up with Conveyor, they upload their videos, it's just all there in one place?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. With one caveat. We believe people have video content all over. Some people love using Vimeo. Some people love using YouTube or Wistia for better data tracking. Or if it's corporate environment, they have, for security reasons, their own things they use. And so what we decided to do, instead of hosting all the video assets, you just use a link from wherever you're hosting it. And literally it puts it right into a micro lesson in this curated experience. You don't even know where it is. It's just that link embeds it right in. So wherever you have your videos or whatever you prefer, keep using that. If it's YouTube, just make them private and use a link, and boom, they're right in Conveyor, and it brings them to life. And you can pick your engagement with them and sequence it, drip them out, or have it all self-paced. And it's all mobile driven. That's the other thing too. It's like a lot of platforms out there, even if you go to Teachable or some of these other platforms, they're built for PCs and made to work on mobile devices. We built this for mobile, and it also works on a PC, so we went the other direction.
Cool. So yeah, you're not stuck on just mobile, and you're not just stuck on PC. So yeah, and you're so right there that I've sometimes gotten hung up on I've logged into some platform and it was awkward on one or the other, and I'm like, I don't want to have to choose. I want to use the thing that I'm using to watch it, and I might want to watch some on the PC and then move over to the tablet or the phone for the rest of it. And you know what? It's easy for guys like you and me to geek out about the technical details, right, and talk about like video links and mobile responsiveness. Sure. But I'm sure that some people listening want to hear about like a fun story or a case study where someone used your platform to put out a really cool course, plus they added on these gamification tools and then also made it just really fun and point and click easy. So do you have anything like that handy? Do you have any interesting stories where someone was maybe struggling making a course and they just used your platform to get it done?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a quick one. Right when we launched, I decided to build a course in 2 days. It was a fun little challenge with our own software. And I used my iPhone 6 at the time to shoot the videos. I had better equipment, but I'm like, hey, what could anybody do? And I'm just going to do that. And so I shot 11 videos. It was an 11-day challenge, build more than a business, getting business owners to take seriously their personal lives at the same time and not sacrifice them. And I put it together in our software, shot the videos on my iPhone, did light editing in the front and back, just talking head videos. And I gave it free on my Facebook. And about 30 business owners joined it immediately. But then I didn't talk about the points. They're getting points as they're doing things. And there's a leaderboard. They can click it on their phone. They're seeing the leaderboard. But I never spoke to the points in the gamification. It was just there. And then on the fourth day, so this is after their fourth lesson, one lesson a day. They got a text notification each day, hit their learner link, and boom, they're right in the portal on their phone. On the fourth day, I invited them to share it to social media. And I said, oh, and by the way, I'll give you 1,000 extra points just to make it fun. And boom, this thing blew up and hundreds of people were all of a sudden in the campaign. And granted, it was free. But what was really powerful is to see all these business owners, so not necessarily young people, with a mix of ages, sharing it, and there was no reward, meaning that I never spoke to points except offering to give 1,000 extra. There was a leaderboard, but there was no reward for getting more. And this thing exploded. And I share that story for a couple of reasons. One, sometimes people wonder, hey, why points? Is that gimmicky or what? What we're seeing is all ages love it. Corporate environment, training environment, whatever. The other thing is to use an example of the business owners you would think would require a certain level of professionalism from their course. Everybody loved the videos. Nobody could tell that they weren't in a studio or some high polish. They were into it. They were into the experience. In fact, they felt like I was right there coaching them along the way. And I think that's great. Another quick story is a mommy blogger, took information she had from other contexts, blogs and things like that, about parenting, put it together in a course pretty quickly, and started selling it with Facebook ads and had success with that. The other cool part of that story is she now has thousands and thousands of opted-in cell phone numbers as well as emails. And she's able to, when she has a new blog post or things like that, also use the other side of the platform and text everybody with their first name, a personal text message from a real number, but do it efficiently, just one time. It sends out thousands of individual text messages with a reminder that, hey, a new blog post is up and so forth. Just like people do with MailChimp or emails, she's able now to tap into that from an immediate response sense with SMS.
Super cool. So she used your platform and had all these extra ways to stand out, right? The gamification part, that alone makes her course stand out from all the other competitors out there. And then the ability to text blast, again, a really easy way to get people coming back and without having to sign up for some other service or figuring out all these other things. And I just love that story, how people were freaking out about these points that you just made up, and it's so great that that's a universal thing, like you said, of all ages, not just the kids. Everyone can relate to just that good feeling of having the points. I mean, it's like getting the high score in the video game. And I have a coaching client who said something like people will die for medals. I think that might even be a Napoleon Bonaparte quote, yeah. But just It's like, just because you set some arbitrary thing and they see this number go up, it's just one of those human nature kind of thing. So that's a really good technique there of saying, well, I'm going to give you points for going through this course, and then if you share to social media, you'll get 1,000 extra points. And that's really cool that that's all automated and things like that. And so, so you said that you didn't have any sort of reward for the points, but if people wanted to allow their members to cash in on points, is that doable with your platform?
No, absolutely. So they can just simply announce what the rewards are, and then give the rewards at the end of the course based on where people stack up on the leaderboard. Absolutely.
So do you have any interesting ideas or like use cases where people traded points for something interesting? Like, I mean, off the top of my head, I think, you could exchange like free access to a product or a 30-minute consulting call or something fun in the mail. But does anything stand out at you as far as like interesting ways to have people cash in their points?
Well, I mean, it depends on what, let's say you're a coach listening in, you're building your coaching business. The free call you mentioned is a perfect thing because you want to do that anyways. And it's a high value thing. Coaching's powerful. Or let's say you're an author and you have a book. Why not give, several copies of the book for free and just ask that if they love the book, give a testimonial on it. If you're selling something, you're trying to promote whatever you're trying to promote, give the thing for free at the end. It gives great exposure to it and you're giving value. A lot of people want to create leads, right? It could be a brick and mortar business to a information entrepreneur or whoever it is you want to create leads. If you're giving something free, like an ebook or something like that, you want it to stand out. You want them to consume it, and whatever you give for free, you want it to change them in some way so that they want more. So just think about that. Whatever you're trying to give for free, if you're going to change them so they want more, they have to consume it. And so that's another possibility too of, give free videos away, but instead of just static videos on a site, you could create a little experience and make it more interesting, and you could gamify it, and the thing that it's upselling, you could give one of those for free or something different for free. There's lots of ways you could do it.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good idea there to make a free course and then add the gamification so it thins the herd a little bit. And it sounds like your philosophy about all this is to get them to ask for the thing that you want to give them anyway, right? You want to get them on that free call anyway. You want to send that book anyway, but then it's like, well, two things. If you say, I'll do the free call with everyone, who knows if you can handle that scale, and there's nothing special about it, right? If you're doing it for everyone, it's like, oh, how good could that half an hour call be if you'll just chat with anyone about it? But if you make people earn it even a little bit by passing that sort of test, then that's really great because there's built-in value with that, and the people that you end up talking to are like way more qualified. There's way less people to talk to, and you've gotten to know each other a little bit through them learning from you and learning enough to take the test, and they've proven themselves to you as far as taking the test. So there's a little bit of a sunk cost there from them. If they take the test and then they don't take you up on that coaching call, then like what the heck did they take the test for? So now they're more likely to contact you. So that's really cool that just by adding that little bit of a roadblock really helps things out. So that's a lot of cool things to think about as far as thinking outside the box. And in these last few minutes of us talking here, I want to make sure that we touch on the whole lifestyle aspect, because I know that at the moment we're talking, you're on a trip around the country, and it's a really easy thing. Well, it's easy for people to lose sight of the free time having fun thing, but then it's also sometimes hard to switch gears between both those things, right? It's hard to get 100% in work mode and not goof off. So can you like speak to that a little bit and just let us know like what sorts of secrets you've discovered from that business life balance and living your best life and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking about that. And everybody should know I have 7 kids and one more on the way. When I heard that when I had 0 to 1 or 2 kids, I thought those people were crazy. So I'm right there with you if you think that about me at the moment. But they're amazing kids, and we went one by one. But I definitely have thoughts on that because I've always been an entrepreneur. And one of the things is we bring our skills to our ambition. What are we ambitious about? Building our business, finding a way to create leverage, more income, things like that, contribute to the world through our skills and have impact and see that meaningful impact out there. And all those things are wonderful. And I feel those things too. But that draws out of us the best of us, our best skills, whether it's running a meeting, the right language, thinking about it as we're talking to somebody, to, getting the word out about a product or whatever it is. But the question I would ask everybody is, do you bring those same listening skills, leadership qualities, thoughtfulness about your words you choose into your home when you walk in the door and it's your spouse, your girlfriend, your kids? Who is it? And are you bringing that there, or all of a sudden do you let all of that go and just say, I'm tired, it's been a big and hard day or a great day, but I'm exhausted, and you just kind of veg and you look at your phone or you watch sports or you're not really there when someone's talking to you? And I would just say that it's misapplied ambition. It's okay to be ambitious about your career, but not at the cost of your personal life. And if that's happening, then when you're 80 years old, you will have lots of regrets. See, money is a poor motivator, in my opinion, because it'll motivate for a while, but it doesn't motivate necessarily to create the things that really matter. And so what you want to make sure of is that you're ambitious towards your personal life and the people around you as well, and you bring those skills to bear there as well.
I like that a lot. So yeah, like don't be ambitious in your business, and then when it's time to go back to your family life, just sort of power down. I mean, who the heck is going to benefit from that? And what you're making me think of as you explain that is, I think we all know at least someone who is not the same person online or on video or on stage or whatever in person, and it's really weird, right? Like someone comes to mind in particular who is like super crazy and energetic and outrageous on stage, but the minute he gets off stage, he's just a pile of bones. He's about to pass out. And then I'll be talking to this guy, and I'm thinking I'm talking to the persona, but then he's just kind of not animated, and I'm thinking, what the heck happened to the guy on stage? Like no one's asking you to be jumping around and over the top and shouting 24 hours a day, but like such a disconnect. And then it seems like he's just sort of like putting on a character and being inauthentic. And I'm all for being in presenter mode and turned on and all that fun stuff. But it's like when there's that much of a difference, it seems like you're not being true to yourself. That's at least what I'm hearing when you explain all that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, you got to be the same person in every place. And there's versions of yourself that are the same person, a little more professional here and there. But I would say that, especially young people, especially if you're trying to attract young people to your business, they can sniff out a phony in a second. I mean, people just can tell. And they may not be able to pinpoint it, but if you're not authentic in all the places you live your life, then you're going to be sniffed out in a second, and people will just be turned off by it. They won't even know why, but they won't buy your product. They won't attend your thing. They won't want to talk to you. And I think that people are drawn to what's real. So back to the course side is, remember, your videos, just be real and make sure it's real content. In your life, just make sure you're real and authentic in all your places. And I think that's a great example that you're just talking about.
Yeah, I agree completely. Be real, even if it's, like if you're real, it might be a little bit awkward for you, but I think all the time about people that, I watch the videos or I like them or I follow them, and I'm sometimes connected to how similar we are. Like, I don't need someone to be super pretentious and authoritative and hoity-toity. Like, sometimes having the honesty mixed in there is what draws me to them. And then something else that comes to mind is, I think that around high school age, we all did our best to like be super fake, right? And then the problem with that is that if you optimize for something that you're not, then you're going to attract all these people that you don't even like, and all these people that wouldn't even like the real you. So then if you are your real self, then you'll find the people that you like, and the people that you like you. I mean, makes a lot of sense, and it's easy enough to say in abstract terms, but the hard part is actually implementing, right? And of living this sort of thing every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
So having said that, and as we're winding down, I mean, you've built this company, people are always need help, being motivated and disciplined in their courses. You have all the stuff going on with your huge family and all your fun adventures. Do you have any advice or a number one tip or something in just staying excited, motivated, energized, just always being able to deliver? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think when people lose hope, they lose action, and it's just so important to recalibrate at times. Challenging things happen. I mean, just real quick, but a couple of years ago, I had a business I went all in on go out of business, and it sucked my finances really dry. And now, those are moments of truth. And but I think you have to remember who you are. One of the things that is motivating to me is in those really deep challenges, when maybe other people have lost faith in you too, is to remind yourself who you are. And if you don't already know who you are in a really strong sense of your name, then you won't be able to draw on that when things are tough. And I just think that's huge. So two things is make sure you have a clear sense of purpose of what you're doing, and it's meaningful enough. If you just chase money, you'll lose motivation. It's okay if it makes a lot of money, but make sure it's meaningful, So you got to make sure that, and then you just got to make sure that when you ask yourself, when you say to yourself, I'm Issac Tolpin, or I'm Robert Plank, when you say that, what does that mean to you? Because you're going to need to say that when things are tough, when you have lost track and you don't have ambition or bad things have happened and you need to pull yourself out of something. You need to go, no, I'm Issac Tolpin. I get things done. Things happen when I work hard, or whatever it is for you. And then the last thing I said two, but there's three. And then strong faith. I believe in God, and that's been huge for me.
Awesome. Well, this is some really deep stuff, and I think I'm going to be thinking back to some of the things we've unpacked for months and years to come. So we need to have purpose, meaning, and faith, and be true to ourselves. And it sounds also like, we're all going to go through some ups and downs, some struggles at one point or another. So that's just part of it. And it's good to have this awareness you're talking about and some of these tools. So that way, when things aren't super 100% fine and rosy, we have those things to help get us through. But on a happier note, I think that everyone should be using Conveyor to run their courses and to make them interesting. And that website is conveyyour.com. And is that the place for everyone to go today, or do you have any other links to drop here?
Oh, that's a great place to go. And there's a free demo there that you can play with. You put in your name and cell phone number in, it'll text you a link and all that. It's fun. Other places, you can connect with me on social media anywhere, Issac Tolpin, Tolpin. And if you want more info, I can give you guys a link to the micro-learning webinar, which is free content on, keys to building a course effectively and that kind of thing. So happy to give you that link if you want to put it in the notes.
Yeah, we'll put that in the link. So if you're watching on the web, then click that link. And also, if you're watching or listening on your iPhone app, there should be a place to click. Maybe it's like details or info or something. There should be a way to find that link on that micro learning webinar. So the place to go is, well, first of all, if you want to connect with Issac on social media, that's ISAACTOLPIN, and to check out Conveyor, which is the best online learning platform for micro learning and all that fun stuff. That is conveyour.com. So we'll see you there. And thanks, Issac, for blowing our minds in a lot of ways as far as showing us and telling us what's possible as far as teaching in our membership sites, our courses. It doesn't have to be the old, boring, outdated stuff. And on the other side of the coin, thanks a bunch for also blowing our minds a second time as far as the things that we need to do to make sure that our personality and our mind and our ambition is on the right track. So thanks for all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be here.
Today's episode is sponsored by doneforyoupodcasting.com. Is your podcast not what it should be? What if you could simply show up and have a team deal with content, outreach for guests, editing, production, social media traffic, and more? Check out doneforyoupodcasting.com.